All right. Good morning. Hope you had a good New Year's Eve party. Whatever it is that you did, cool. As long as it was responsible, this and that, and that wackadoo shit. But now that we made it another year, it's 2023 on a Sunday. Um, I'm here to drop some gems on you, no matter who you are, what gender you are, wherever you come from, color, creed, that doesn't matter here. What matters is where you are, who you are in this moment. Were you able to look in the past, forgive your past self for anything and everything, so that you can trust your current self today, and to create your future self in the coming days? You always want to build towards that better tomorrow, right? So this is the Southcoast Stoic, and my whole mission is to get you here, or get you to where you want to be with, you know, certain things that I'll say it'll resonate with you. And if you're receptive enough, you can take it, alter it, make it a part of you so that you can live better, even better than me, even better than people around my age, and even within your age groups as well. You know, so this is going to be a mission for the next handful of weeks, probably even more so than that if need be. But everything here is going to be unfiltered. Everything here is going to be 100%. Everything here is going to be real. None of the bullshit. Okay? And here we go. So we're going to start off, okay, with what I'm going to put on you today. Comes from something called Stoicism. All right? And Stoicism, it's like, to me, and it could be a subjective truth, but when you start to really work with it, you're going to find it to be an objective truth for you and your belief system. So it's to live pragmatically. And to live pragmatically is to live practically. And to live practically is to just kind of like be real. Like you know everything for what it is. 100%. And you try to just kind of like live in a you want to live sensibly. You want to make sense of things so that everything is clear, cut, and dry, no matter how it makes you feel. Okay? And this isn't a takeaway from human emotion, but you need to understand that how you feel about a certain thing or in that moment, it's just you. Because the reality of it is bigger than you, and it will always be. Okay? And this isn't something to beat you down to make you feel small. No. Know that it's bigger than you, and see that as like a mission for you to go up there and be just as big as the reality is. Okay? Because a lot of things out here, a lot of externals out here that's going to be bigger than you, that may or may not be within your control. But you always want to be big enough so that those externals, those outside forces that, it's kind of like BS, that you'd be able to really roll with that and know what to do with it. So Stoicism comes from back in the day, Greeks and Romans, different times, but if I could kind of compare it to times like these, it's somewhat the same. Hedonistic, very freeing. Everyone can just do what you want and have that be that. It's cool. But that doesn't mean to live recklessly. If you have the power to live how you want to live, and hopefully it's righteous, wouldn't you want to do that for yourself? Wouldn't you want to give to yourself the same amount that you give to someone else that just ain't fucking worth it? It's going to be worth it if you apply that to yourself. So we're going to get started on doing that. Okay. So Stoicism, it's not a religion. It's not something that can be mastered. It's just a practice. And there will always be a practice. you know, because we're always learning stuff about ourselves every day, about other people every day, about society every day. And things change over time, whether it be a short amount of time or a long amount of time, it will always change. So you have to roll through with the changes yourself. You know, no matter who you are, whether you're, shining personality or a recluse standing at your like PC gaming station or something, keeping to yourself. You know, um, it's here to figure out human behavior because there's a pattern to human behavior, and we're victims of that sort of circumstance. And I don't even like to put that word out there to be a victim. I think that's like utter horseshit. Okay, because that's immediately saying like, oh well, I'm just gonna like go down on one or both knees, and it is what it is. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Especially when you have the power to change it, manifest it, manipulate it to like a positive thing that's going to be conducive to your better living, no matter what comes your way. Okay. So for me to go ahead and give you these ideas when we're going to get into it, um, I like to think of it like this. Okay, you obviously have developed your own ideas and narrative on life, your own shit that goes on. That's fine. Me here, all I'm doing is giving you a blueprint. I'm not saying that what your thought process is wrong because you took time to try to figure it out, whether it be trial by fire or you're just trying to just make sense of things without a form of structure, without guidance, and you're not at fault for that, because that's what we're all trying to do, right? Let's try to figure it out, keep going through life, and hopefully something clicks. But oftentimes you're gonna eat shit before something clicks. But when you eat shit or when you suffer a loss, is it really a loss or is it a learning experience? So when it comes to that L, you know, it's only a loss if you haven't learned anything from it, if there's no takeaway from it, and especially if it's just kind of like you are set on this path of bitterness throughout, and it trickles down from you to other people in your life, um, whether what is it, so that you can go ahead and be kind of like narcissistic, or kind of like a doomsayer kind of thing, just a negative bastard. Have it be a learning experience, literally. No matter how much that loss pains you, or the unfortunate event like gets to you, breaks you, you have to really sit down and think to yourself, well, what did I do wrong? What was wrong? What could I have done right? And what is my takeaway from this so that I don't have to go through this shit again? You will find the answer, but don't dwell on it. It's okay to think about it, but don't dwell on it. Okay, dwelling and overthinking is only going to bar you from greater opportunities than how it would be if you were to just sit, have a form of like self-reflection, figure things out within that moment, carry it and take it forward with you to the next day or the next, you know what I mean? So that's really what it means to just learn. We're always learning, but a lot of people can't really take a loss so well. And I used to be there. Okay, it's not like I just kind of was pushed out into this world and I had this shit figured out. No, man, I had trial by fire every step of the way. Even though I had my male role models within like my early to mid 20s. It was never in spades, but it was there, and it counted the most just by being there within a brief moment in time, and I was able to take something from that. Um, but obviously over time, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to dig deep, not too deep, but as deep as I would feel like I need to go to help figure some shit out. And if I need to go deeper, that's fine. It's only gonna get rougher the deeper you go, but you have to brace yourself for that shit, because otherwise, it's gonna break you, and you want it to make you. So the things I'm gonna say here today, don't take it as a whole gospel. Like I'm, some sort of like I'm some sort of deity or anything. No, I am just a man, and by me being this man, I want to have everything that I've figured out, everything that I've learned over the past years, trickle down from me and get to you, so that you can go ahead and live better than where you're at now, whether it's in a good place, whether it's in a bad place, whether or not you have a support system, whether or not you have your structure, whether or not you have your guidance. I'm going to be here for you, for anyone that's willing to be receptive, because you can hear, anyone can hear, but when you listen, you're locked in at all times. So don't just hear, really listen. And you can play this back however you want it. And I have it on Rumble so that you can turn the face of your phone off, so you don't have to see this ugly mug. And whether or not you're trying to multitask for the day, you can listen to it. There's no payment for Rumble, not like how it is on what is it, YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, whatever the hell it is now. So let us begin. Obviously this is my first time doing this, so I'm gonna obviously figure out this shit myself over time, so it can be more professional. But right now we're in the beginning stages, so what you're seeing now is completely organic. And even if I'm going to learn some more shit along the way, I'm not going to take away these organic aspects. So we're going to start, even though it's a Sunday, my goal is to be on Saturday, so we can start with Saturday Stoicism at the end of the week, rather than Sunday at the start of the week. But in this case, that's all right. So we're going to get on Judgment. First chapter, we're going to get on Judgment. What does judgment really mean? Like what people do it every day, even though they say that they don't like to be judged or they don't like others judging. We literally do it on a subconscious level. That's how crazy it is. And look, how it affects you could be good or could be disastrous, or anybody else, honestly. Because people, oh, you're not meant to, you're in no place to judge this and that for whatever this other person does or you do, whatever the fuck it is, okay? But my thing about judgment is that everyone's going to have it of you. And for the most part, it's going to be in a negative connotation, because every time you even hear the word judgment, it doesn't really sound so good, So when it comes to judgment, it's like this thing that seems to get to people a lot, and it kind of fucks up their psyche or their belief system that they have, towards it's like, man, like, was that wrong? Or your moral compass starts to get challenged along with your beliefs when you hear someone's judgment of you. And I'm here to tell you, listen, fuck that, fuck them. What do they have on? What do they know about you that you don't know about yourself already, more so than what they think they know about you? And if that's the case, why let it bother you so much? What does this person have on your fucking life that it's gonna affect you in this way, where it just kind of brings you down, and but it keeps you from being you, from living righteously, and this motherfucker, this flashy dude, right, Marcus Aurelius, the most accomplished man of his time at that time, he said it best. If any external thing causes you distress, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your own judgment about it. And this you have the power to eliminate now. That's Marcus Aurelius from Meditations. If you're interested in, picking up that from this excerpt. And look, with that, like I said, I talked about externals a couple minutes ago. So externals are just outside forces overall. All right. And honestly, judgment is an external thing. But and for a lot of people, it can come from, internal turmoil, internal torment. They're not really up on themselves, and they feel like shit, so they want to like pass that out to someone else and have them feel better about it. Like, the fuck is that? Nah, get out of here. And with that, you got to judo flip it. I don't know if anyone who's watching this or listening to this is aware of the judo martial arts lifestyle. If you or judo martial arts like ways. If you do, great. If you don't, it's literally just using your opponent's momentum and weight against them, and you flip that motherfucker on their back, just okay, and now they're on the ground, and they're just looking up like, what happened? And they're looking at you. You already have the hand. They're like, yeah, I got you. And say you got to judo flip it. So if someone's out there, like, let's say, it could be your friends, honestly, or it could be certain random people that you're not really acquainted with that well, or they're just randos that they have some bullshit to say about you, you know. Unless with the guys, we'll always bullshit with each other, and it's playful banter, locker room talk, as they used to call it back in the day. In which case, like, that's okay, so long as your friend, like, it's coming from a good space. That they view you in a certain light. It's just that men were really we're really competitive. That's just how it is, and we can be aggressive at times, and that's great. That's fine. Keep that. And I'm not. This isn't any sort of like toxic masculinity kind of bullshit. It's biology. It's always been there. Um, and if it's for any woman, any girl that's watching or listening to this, that's on the men's side. On the women's side, I understand that when y'all do it, it could really dig deep beneath the skin, and you're now really like thinking about it more than you should, because in a sense, in a way, y'all have your moments where there is self-deprecation. Um, some of them at the start, at the start of the morning, like you feel like you can't go through that door unless you tell yourself you ain't shit. um, Unless it's a constructive way to really like get up in the world and prove to the whole world that it's the opposite. That's fine. But prove it to yourself first. Words of affirmation is a ginormous fucking thing. So, if you have a mirror and this is, again, both genders now. If you wake up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, whether you're brushing your teeth or you're putting on your clothes or whatever it is that you do for your morning ritual, add this into it, your words of affirmation. Be your own hype man. 100%. You're your own number one fan. Bring yourself up, to where it's just like, you wake up, a good example is something that I would do. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, all right, we're here for another day. We still have all our things. We still have all our blessings, whether it be finances, family dynamics, good friends, pets, your living space, any kind of like positive things in your life. Look at that. Take that. Okay, like, this is what I have, and I'm very grateful for it. Now move on to the next thing. Okay, what are the good things that I need, not want, that I need but I don't have yet? And visualize that, and honestly tell yourself that you do deserve all that you pursue out of necessity, because you can get it. And even if it's down to just how you look, your body, whether you have a good body or your body's kind of and you're trying to get there, know that you can get there. It's like, oh, where I'm at, yeah, it's okay now, but where I can be if I put in the work, and I know I can, is going to be a beautiful thing. The fruits of my labor will pay me back in spades. you know, and you just, even if it's really organic, like, you know, I'm that motherfucker, or, I'm that bitch, bang, 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 whatever it is you say that really like amp yourself up to make you feel good, do it. Because it's not coming out of a place where you're cocky or overly confident or arrogant, like anything like that. No, you're giving this to yourself because no one else is giving that to you. Nobody. So start it by giving it to yourself, you know? And you'll see how much of a better day you're gonna have. It's some crazy magic shit when you do this words of affirmation thing. It could be for 5 minutes. Um, you know, could be a little bit longer. That's fine. You don't want to have a real like TED talk to yourself, but you definitely want to give yourself these words of affirmation, these positive insight for yourself to help perpetuate a good day forward. No matter what sort of goofy shit's gonna come in, no matter what sort of bad shit's gonna come in, you know, because again, your words of affirmation are gonna like build you up to where no matter what kind of bad thing that comes, it's either dirt on the shoulder or it's something that whoosh, judo flip. So that's where we're gonna be at with that. Now, and from this, it's going to judo flip any kind of judgment that people have for you that it's just like, well, they don't fucking know me. They don't pay my bills. They don't, give me my check. They don't put money in my direct deposit, you know? So if they don't have that ultimate power over your life, and I understand that words are very powerful, but the words that you instilled in yourself, along with the belief that you have, or rather the trifecta, which I want to go ahead and unpack that. It's self-love, self-respect, or if I want to put it in order, self-respect, self-confidence, and self-love. Okay, love is very strong, but love is never enough. Never. You need to have that respect, because from that respect, everything else trickles down to the confidence and to the love. Okay, because you can respect something that you don't love, believe it or not. Where it's just I don't know. A good example would be if someone were to talk about, I don't know, like Thanos from the Marvel comics or the Marvel movies, where okay, big bad villain, but when you like, when they give him more screen time so you can understand where he's coming from, it's like, all right, yeah, he's got a point. I still don't agree with him, but like I understand that, and and that's a form of respect if you like understand it. You don't have to love the fucking raisin, the 7 foot tall raisin, but you could respect where he's coming from, good or bad. Because when it comes down to what's good or bad, that's a whole different thing. That's your morality. It's your moral compass. Now, I'm not saying that what he did was good. No, 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 no. But again, it all comes back to respecting the outlook that this person had. Even though it's not good, it's not conducive to a better lifestyle for everyone else around this person. But you respect that regardless. So give this trifecta: self-respect, self-confidence, self-love to you, okay, and apply that to your words of affirmation. So it's not just words that you forget about. You say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this," and then you just forget about it. No, 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 no. Apply all that. This is your belief system. It's the trifecta, okay, the trio that's going to help you with those words of affirmation, so that any sort of external bullshit that comes your way, it's not going to be a big deal. It really isn't. Now, let's see. All let's see. When it comes to when it comes to pain and pleasure, and this is still from like Judgment, because some people are pleased by the words that they put out to someone or the words that they take in, if it's like positive or negative. But a lot of people run towards pleasure and run away from pain. That's just the psychological thing of it. Okay. And like the judgment or the opinion. Okay. It's pain and pleasure comes from three stages, right? So you got the event of which happens, the judgment and the opinion, or the opinion, sorry, and then your reaction to it. Okay, the reaction is, to me, the most important thing, because it falls on you of how you're going to react to any external, that of which you have control over or you don't have control over. Okay, and you got to take a good look at the second stage. You do. You got to understand the bullshit about it, control it with the reasoning that you need, and make sure you take your time with that, but not too much time. All right. So we have that on deck. And judgments/opinions makes our reactions and our fears and our desires. And my boy, Seneca the Younger, out of all the Stoic prophets that I will cover throughout this entire mission, Seneca be spitting. He's got a lot of good shit to say. Seneca the Younger. He has his father, Seneca the Elder, but Seneca the Younger was definitely on some shit for his time. So he has this quote: "Everything depends on opinion. Ambition, luxury, greed, all look back to opinion. It is according to opinion that we suffer. Each man is as wretched as he has convinced himself he is." And that's from his book. It's either epistles or epistles. I know the pronunciations, it might be on, might be off, but that's fine. Now, again, it all, that quote right there, this is a guy from years and years and years back to pinpoint human behavior like that. And it still resonates to this day. It's the craziest shit. Craziest shit. So, everything truly depends on the opinions, even though a lot of people want to live by the facts. Case in point, and if you want to take it to a different avenue, for every objective truth, there is like millions of subjective truths, because everybody talks, not a lot of people listen. Everyone feels like they have the right thing to say amidst what everyone else is saying, and they're just, oh, well, he's wrong and I'm right, and listen to me, and my stuff's backed up, bang, bang, bang. Listen, to me, the one thing that you got fucked up is that you're telling the other person that they're wrong in their beliefs if it coincides with what you're saying or what you're doing. And even if it's off, but not like too far off to where it's just kind of like on some villain shit. Again, understand that they have taken the time to try to figure this stuff out on their own time, whether it's from self-realization, trial by fire experiences, or just information that you look up on that is backed by a lot of people. So it begs the questions, well, how many opinions does it take to make that opinion a factual thing, or that subjective truth an objective truth? Can't really put a gauge on that, but a lot of people would go ahead and say, if, I don't know, like a theater audience number of people could agree on the same thing, all right, I could understand how that would, all right, for that thing, there is an objective truth to that. And the best thing about the objective truth is that it's going to set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. And if it does, good, because that there challenges your, opinions that you had on it that might have been different. And you can't really take it out on the person that put you on like that if, they showed you that kind of light, or don't even get mad at yourself for like thinking the way that you thought was all bullshit or whatever. No, like, understand where you were, okay? Don't beat yourself up about it. You can get mad, okay, fine, whatever. But what comes after that? The understanding. We are emotional creatures, some within humankind more than others, but it's all the same. The reactions will always be emotional firsthand. Okay, your ego will bleed through. Okay, because we are animals. We are all animals. We've come from animals. So the ego is like the biggest thing to wrestle. Okay, to kind of not exactly defeat, but to overcome, to conquer. Because if conquerors from their time, you know, would like take out or defeat an entire village, then there's nothing really to claim there. If you're conquering a village or a town or kingdom, whatever, then you're literally taking what was there, altering it, and making it a part of your kingdom. And that's all that needs to be done, really, when it comes to understanding the truth of things, when understanding the reality. Okay. Now, we have something from Epictetus. Again, my pronunciation might be ass. But this is his quote. Men are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by their opinions about those things. So when we are impeded or upset or aggrieved, let us never blame others, but ourselves. That is, our opinions, right? And that's from his book of Enchiridion. Now, again, to blame yourself, to take accountability for yourself is not beating yourself up at all. You're literally at fault for everything good and bad that you do in this life. Okay? But there's a lot of people that that stray away from being accountable, taking the blame for their faults. A lot of people like to live without faults. Well, if we were in such a perfect fucking world, that's a different story, but we're not. So it's on us, every single one of us, to understand, to find, understand, and accept our faults, good or bad, but predominantly the bad ones, so that we can go ahead and flip that and make it a better thing for ourselves moving forward. That's on us to do it. It comes from the growth. It comes from within. It starts with you. When people say, "Oh, look inward." Okay, sorry, that's my cat. Look inward, so that you can go ahead and start living a little bit better, to start being better, acting better to the world outside. Because the world, I'll put it to you this way. Put it to you this right now. The world doesn't owe you a fucking thing. It doesn't owe you any understanding, which is perfect to understand and accept. Because it give you more fuel, more fire to do the most for yourself than the world at large, until you come upon it where you hit that point of fulfillment with what you have learned and what you have done, that it will trickle down from you to the world. Okay, so that the world doesn't owe you anything, but there's nothing there saying that everything that you've done can't be trickled down to other people, so that not that they would owe you anything. No. So that they can feel as though they've received something from you that you don't expect any kind of payment back for. It's the gift that keeps on giving. But to never expect something to be given back in return, that's the best thing, honestly. Because even if it does, great. But if it doesn't, the whole fact of the matter is that you put something really positive out there for someone to consume, for someone to have it resonate with somebody. And that right there goes and changes their dynamics in a way. Now, they're not trying to be like you. They're trying to adopt and adorn the aspects that you bring to the table. And it all comes from succession. So from people older than me, down to me and my generation, down to the next, so on and so forth, and as it rolls on. That's just succession. Unfortunately, a lot of goofy motherfuckers don't really like it like that. Like I've had to, I've had to battle in a sense or go against the grain with a lot of people from the older generation and their beliefs, because the one thing that gets them mad is the youth that they see the next generation have that they had, but they never really applied it in a way that they should have. And somehow that's the younger generation's fault? Nah, fuck that. That's goofy shit. Be happy. Be proud of the younger generation that's coming forth, because they are the future. So why not instill all the proper wisdom to them without making it so personal, without any sort of biases? Don't lead them astray. Don't lead them to failure. You want to lead them to success all the times, because your times will come and go. Later on this year, my 20s will be gone. Okay, and I get to see and encounter a bunch of people younger than me that are on some really cool shit that I know I can get to, but I'm on my own path right now, so I'm not mad at them for the things that they accomplished that honestly could be better than what I'm doing or what I have done. That's fine. Let them do that. That's the whole point. That's literally the whole point, is that the next in line will be the successors to you. That's just how it goes. So why not help build that up for them, with them, to perpetuate a better future for, so you have far less to worry about, but before you leave this earth. So to cycle back, because I can definitely go on some shit, but it's on you to take more responsibility than usual for your thinking, to treat how you talk to yourself as a choice. And again, words of affirmation. You want to have that be a positive choice that you make every morning, every night. Even if you're spiritual, where you before you go to bed, ask the universe, or rather tell the universe, I want to know how good life can get, how good my life can get. Zero in on that focus for a little bit before you fall asleep. Then when you wake up towards a new day, same cycle over again when it comes to that. Now here's another quote from Marcus Aurelius. Take away your opinion about it, and quote unquote, I have been harmed is taken away. Take away, quote unquote, I have been harmed, and the harm is taken away. So again, the way you think about certain things that have happened to you, you have to understand that if you're going through some shit right now, an external, that it was something out of your control, then it was never your fault. Never blame yourself for that. Never, ever, ever. That's the biggest disservice that you can do for yourself. And you have to go ahead and flip that and forgive your past self for thinking that way. Not for the events that transpired that kind of set some bullshit in motion for you, because that was outside of your control. And we'll get to that within the next chapter or so. But there are some things that are out of your control, and it's unfortunate. Honestly, it is. But how you think about it and how you believe in those thoughts will help you get to a better place. I know, and look, all that I'm saying, I'm not. I know that I make it sound easy, and I honestly know that it will be on the contrary to some of you out there. But that's the beauty of it. If it was so easy, then a lot of people would be on. A lot of people would do it. But it's hard work. There will always be hard work. There will always be a fight for something better, and that attributes to something that you earned, not something that was given. Because to live righteously is to live by your belief system and everything that you've earned. Because everything that's given and not earned, it creates like entitlement and narcissism And people like that, man, throw them in the trash. Push them down the elevator shaft. Next floor. Nah, I'm not waiting for the thing to come. Boop. See you later. You know. So when it comes to your own opinions on certain things that have happened to you, past or present, if you have to take it with a grain of salt, fine. If you have to take it with a handful, also fine. But you have to understand that for the things that have happened that wasn't your fault, you had really no choice to change that. So you gotta move. You gotta do your best to move forward. After forgiving your past self for the mentality there, to now trust in your current self to perpetuate things forward to create that better future self. And even if that means you have to work with, find, and heal that inner child within you that may or may not have gotten the things that you needed that were important to you, then to try to find, ask yourself what was missing, what didn't land on your lap like that, and work with that. And if you're in a relationship with your partner and they're going through it, something like that, then look, it's hard work for the person by themselves. It will never be easy, but it will get easier when cooler heads prevail, when you have two heads kind of working together at the same time to try to heal that inner child, that inner you, so that when that whole thing's said and done, now the current version of yourself can start living better, can start living more freely, like the weights are fucking gone. Like those those big cartoon like jail weights where they have like the thick like anklet with the giant big black ball and chain. Like that's once that happens, that thing just disappears into sand, and you get to live a little bit more freely. And it'll honestly, it will help you feel better. It will. I speak from experience on that, and I have. And so, of course, I would want that for everybody else. We all deserve that. We do, no matter what color, creed, so on and so forth. You do deserve that. Now, Mr. Farnsworth, Ward Farnsworth had this quote that the goal of the Stoic. The goal of the Stoic is not to empty the mind, but to clear it of foolishness and misjudgment. Okay, all that we've been talking about recently, So, because when you're clear of that, you're more aptly able to live pragmatically, and it's a really good way to live. It could be a subjective truth, but in my experience, what is it? I have encountered a bunch of people that they didn't tell me otherwise, not once. So that has to say something, Now, we're going to get on to comparisons, right? If you're living your life through comparisons or constantly comparing, you ain't fucking living right. It's a big detriment. And a lot of people do that, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. And the perfect outlet for that is social media. Literally the ultimate comparison simulator. Okay, Instagram especially, where you just scroll, dead scrolling they call it, I think. You get to see everyone go out there and live their own lives. And what are you doing? What are you laying in bed looking at them? What are you sitting in your fucking chair looking at them? Spending like way too much time. Okay, 10 to 20 minutes or whatever. That's just like idle shit. I mean, I would honestly add for a whole lot less. But there are people that just go and do that shit for like half an hour, a whole hour, hour and a half, even longer, which is like, how? How the fuck? No. You're doing yourself a disservice. You really are. Because as soon as you compare yourself to somebody else, then it's like, how is that conducive to you living better? because you're already like putting yourself down, like, oh, well, this person has like an awesome body, or this person's driving a Maserati, or this person has all this money and they're spending a week vacation in Cancun or some like beautiful islands in Ireland or some shit like that. You're beating yourself up and you don't even fucking realize it. Or rather you are, and it comes back to that same quote, it is what it is. It's like, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Because you can go ahead and get the same opportunity, the same things that those people out there are getting, or that they have already received. All right? And I honestly believe that they know this. These successful people, that they know this. They got, I want to show this off to the world, this and that. And yeah, they might think it's coming from a good place to help inspire other people to do it. But there's no how to get there. It's just kind of like, you look at this picture, yeah, you could be here. Well, how? Motherfucker? How? And I have my gripes with some influencers out there, because it's more like, yeah, they're influencing a lifestyle without providing the rule book, without providing a manual. And if it is, it's definitely like fabricated horseshit. It is. Or rather, it's the one true thing that could work only for them, and it should work for you, even though you're not them. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So you're taking away from yourself, you're taking away your potential, your loved ones, and your perception of them, and yourself as well. Because again, you're looking at them, you're trying to, well, not trying to, you are seeing how they live, and they're going to live better than you, and that's like a perfect way to just like keep yourself down, keep your head down, without having to aspire to something greater, as you should. You absolutely should aspire to do better. And those people, even though they have some good stuff, they could never put a candle to the flame that you're trying to light up within you. So that, who knows, you can get way more than they can. Or you can get way more than they can in a better way. Or in a way that's more conducive to you, to your own lifestyle. Because you are different from even though we're all the same, we're all different. We all have our own specificities about us, which is beautiful. And no one can take that away from you. And no one should able to take that away from you. And so when it comes to comparisons, in the trash. See you later. There's no need to live a life like that. Now, we got another quote from my boy Seneca. When pleasures have corrupted both mind and body, nothing seems to be tolerable, because the suffering is hard, but because the sufferer is soft. Again. In a sense, okay, life can be, suffering, and because it's a crazy, harsh world out there, and it's not getting better with the state of things as they are now, or rather how they have been. But it all comes from people wanting the pleasures, people wanting that instant gratification all the time, where you have like next day shipping from Amazon, for fuck's sake. Like, okay, let me go ahead and order it now. Oh wow, it's gonna arrive at my doorstep tomorrow at 3 p.m. Like, there's no true wait for the good things, and it takes away, to me, the journey towards something good, because you want to have that slow burn. Instant gratification just means that you are going to be easily dissatisfied with a lot of shit. That's the truth of the matter. You're going to be easily dissatisfied with a lot of shit, because it may not have hit in a way that you had hoped, or it didn't come fast enough, or it didn't come easy enough as you're expecting it to be. And well, it's never supposed to be like that. You're supposed to apply the hard work to earn the shit that you so desire, that you so need. Not want, need. It's okay to have your wants, but your needs will always outweigh your wants. 100%. So this is why a lot of people, are definitely more sensitive, more soft today, because they're just not able to handle suffering in a way that, they haven't really figured out the judo flip. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, you know. Um, the other reason is I really do believe that this is a purpose of mine to fulfill over time, and this is exactly what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for the past couple months, and I'm here now in this new year, moving this shit forward for myself, but most importantly for you, the viewer, the listener, the person that's wanting and willing to change things about themselves and their life. So, life's hard. You have to adapt. You have to be harder. You have to be tempered steel every fucking day. And it will never let up. It will never let up to the point where you will get so used to the fight where it's not even a thing to think about anymore. You know what's going to happen. Even if there are some days where you don't have to fight as hard, but there's still a fight. And it's always going to be the good fight if it leads to you living righteously. Now, again, this is coming from Seneca, another quote. What is it then that doesn't offend your eyes in public but upsets them at home, other than your opinion, which in the one place is easygoing and tolerant, but at home is critical and always complaining? So to unpack that, let's say it's let's say you have a bullshit day at work. Boss is on your ass on something. Couldn't really figure it out. I think he or she just having a bad day. And it hits you in a certain way, whatever it is that they talk to you about, they try to demean you or take away from like your being, just for them to like, really affect that judgment, that opinion to affect you to where you have to be, you're just like, all right, well, it is what like you want to fight it, but you can't get it because you got to keep the job. But then it trickles down. You take it to your home, to whoever's there. You take it out on them. Don't do that. Don't do that. Again, it's all about the judo flip, and you have to pin it right there. Don't sit and think about what had happened and what you could have, what you thought that you could have done differently in that moment. But the moment's passed. You cannot hit the rewind button. The moment has passed. So always, 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 when bullshit hits you, pin it right there. Judo flip it right there. Do not give it a single additional moment to live rent free in your head. Because once when it's there, it's staying. It's staying for a bit, and you don't want to prolong that anymore. Okay, so you have to like rip that shit right out. Say goodbye. Okay, or rather, the opinions that another thing would be, let's see, how how you would act at home most likely shouldn't be the way that you're acting out in the real world, because people like to adorn different masks, different personas. You have the mask at home, you have the mask out in the real world outside. Okay, and we're living in a world where it's like we're trying to be too tolerant of things, so now it's intolerant. But the stuff that we're intolerant about is now becoming somewhat tolerant. I know it sounds confusing, but it's honestly it is at first, because it's just kind of goofy. There are certain things that should be tolerated so long as tolerated and intolerant so long as it's like conducive to your moral compass, and your moral compass will always be that thing within you to really tell you what's right and what's wrong, and you develop that over time, and your parents, your guardians, your adult moral support hopefully will instill that with you more so than your friends will. Your friends will mean well, but again, everyone's coming out of their homes every day from something that they've learned from the previous generation, your parents, your guardians, your adult role models, what have you. And they put that out into the world, and it's kind of like throwing something at the wall and seeing what sticks. Some more than others, some in a positive light, others in a negative light, but y'all trying to do the same thing. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, because we're all trying to figure our own shit out. especially throughout high school. That is like the biggest 4 years of your life, because a lot can and will happen. And if you're not prepared for that, if you don't have the structure and the guidance that you need to, go through it properly, then you're willing to fall and believe for anything if you're not willing to believe in that one thing for yourself. And that's your trifecta model. So, and both of those quotes, by the way, are from Seneca's book on anger. Literally, it's called On Anger. And we have another one from him from Epistles. Those things with respect to which everyone is weak, we regard as hard and beyond endurance. We forget what a torment it is to many of us just to abstain from wine or be made to get up at daybreak. These things are not essentially difficult. It is we who are soft and slack. Again, this is what I've been talking about. It is a fight. It is a battle every day to live better and to be better. For you. For you. You are number one in your life. Always. Never lose sight of that. Even if and when your parents are number one in your life, that's fine. But they're there to help get you to where you need to be. That's the goal. That's the mission objective. Okay? So that when you're out there and you're on your own, now you are number one. Your parents will, some may, come in and out with some additional support, and this and that, if they see a form of struggle, but they need to understand that that's how life goes, and I understand that you don't want your babies to go through any sort of hardships that you went through. I understand that. But they need to go through hardships. And listen, if it's the same thing that you went through, or if it's different ones that you never really went through, okay. But that's just how it is. I know that you don't want that for them. That's fine. That's beautiful, because you don't want any misfortunes to fall on your children. I get that. But just how it was necessary for you to go through that, it's the same thing for them to go through that, and for them to go ahead and figure it out. And if they so willingly lean on you for answers to their questions, 100% real. You gotta be. And and for the people that aren't parents, again, it's an everyday struggle all the time. When it's dealing with materials, when it's dealing with people, places, and things, a lot less the places, but just people and things. But when you're dealing with them, you have to know how to maneuver in a way where the judgments will mean nothing to you if it's not conducive to your well-being, not conducive to your betterment. So if you're up on your shit and you're looking good, you're feeling good, and you're starting to become accomplished, a lot of people will be envious of that. That's just how it goes, because it's like, oh well, I wish I had this and this and that. Now they're living on comparisons, because now they're trying to like compare their lives to your life, but you're not really doing that. You're just kind of like, oh, I'm just living, I'm chilling, man. I don't know what your thing is, but be well. Now, implications. Our reactions to all things are of our own making, even if they don't seem that way, and that we underrate our power to rid ourselves of the ones that serve us poorly. Okay, so things that are implied, it's always going to be halfway towards something that the other person is believing to be truthful at the end, but it's just no, it's implied. Never imply anything. Okay, you need to consider everything from every angle at all times. Okay, and not trust in any sort of implications. Okay, that all falls within the judgments and opinions too, because again, people that think they have some sort of like image of you, that's implied. They don't know you. They don't know what you do when you're not around them. They don't deserve to know either, because it's your own personal thing and you're trying to get up in your life, so you don't want to give them that particular power over you if they constantly know what's going on. Unless it's your significant other, that's a different story. But again, how I said before, the world doesn't owe you any sort of understanding acceptance, this and that. You got to develop that for yourself. And that is by and large the world, the inhabitants in it. That's just how it goes. And that quote was from Ward Farnsworth, the author of the Practicing Stoic. Ace book, 100%. Now, pay attention to your impressions. Watch over them without sleeping. For what you guard is no small thing. Self-respect and fidelity and self-possession. A mind free from emotion, pain, fear, disturbance. In a word, freedom. So, I'm going to unpack this, okay? This isn't to say to not have any emotions, to be emotionless, but rather to do your best to keep your emotions in check. Okay, that is practically forever homework. Is to always try to keep, not try, no, fuck try, do keep your emotions in check. You can have them, but don't let them have you. Okay, same thing with opinions. You can have them, but don't let them have you. All right, and with that, what you guard from the rest of the world is no small thing. Your trifecta: self-respect, self-confidence, and self-love, and that creates your trifecta belief system. Okay, it's a part of you. It's big. It will always be big. Okay, and if and when things start to click and connect with you, it's going to help you live righteously to the point where other people will feel threatened, they will feel challenged, but you're not outwardly challenging them. You're being 100% yourself, 100% true to yourself, without any really prolonged moments of uncertainty. You may have certain moments of uncertainty, but it's shit, man. It's only going to last a couple fucking minutes. If you know what it is that, you have to judo flip for the betterment of yourself and your lifestyle. And there's nothing stopping you but you. So rather than be your own worst enemy, be your own best friend. The fuck? You live with yourself every day, So wouldn't that make sense to be your own best friend, to really understand yourself better than anyone else can? That's completely on you. That's on you. That is your job every day. And you get to put that out into the world so that they can see that, like, you're on your shit. You have your head high. Okay? You don't seem nervous about anything. You don't seem anxious about anything. You seem to be that kind of person that's clear cut, concise, and you just move forward with it. And it's gonna pay to live righteously. And another thing that I will add in is that on a scientific spiritual level, that we have the ego and the id. Okay, the ego, deadly. It can make and break you. It can make and break a lot of opportunities. It can make and break a lot of moments. But it's our animalistic instinct. The thing that sets us apart from the rest of the animals is our id. It's, let's see, how should I put it? You have one person that they just act impulsively, whether that's on emotions and stuff like that. Oh, perfect. Anakin Skywalker. For those that watch Star Wars, if you don't, I would. Maybe not 7, 8, and 9. That's a different thing. But episodes 1, 2, and 3, when you get to see Anakin Skywalker go through his journey, that person had the utmost strength to shape the universe to his will, but he primarily operated off of emotion. He did have his good support systems out there, most especially Obi-Wan. So when you get to see this dynamic, Anakin is the ego, Obi-Wan is the id. The id always tries to keep the ego in check, from keeping the ego from making impulsive decisions that it may or may not be conducive to a better moment. But if you were to pay close attention to that theme, the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and you get to see how certain things play out, that they bounce off of each other. That is you. Anakin, Obi-Wan, ego, id. And there will always be a constant shift until you realize how to subjugate and control your ego, but not necessarily let id run the show. If I could go ahead and put it on a pie chart, 60-40, 60 to the id, 40 to the ego, or rather 70-30, 70 to the id, 30 for the ego. Because ego's good. You have to be aggressive in this life. You do. And you have to push forward with certain decisions, so long as it's not going to fuck up a good thing. Because sometimes you just think like, you know what, fuck it, let me just do this. That's the ego, boom. And sometimes it will override the id, but you should always live in a world of should and probabilities rather than a world of shouldn't and possibilities, if that makes sense. And I hope it does. And you know what? That's gonna be this first chapter. Okay. Replay this if you have to. Write down certain things from this. Really listen to it and find your takeaways from it, so that you can start on this journey to living better and to own 2023 as you make it this year. Like, this is your year to live and to be better. I love you all. Blessings to you. Be well and be righteous with yourself every day. Until Saturday, take care.